Hello. There have been a lot of questions on exactly how to get your OER content from PDF form into OpenAuthor so you can share it on OER Commons. So I'm going to walk you through that process. I'm currently going through this process to change a Modern World OER textbook currently in PDF form that was created by East Tennessee State University. And I'm going to do all this transformation so it goes into OpenAuthor and is available online. The first thing I have to do is to export this PDF as a Word document. So on the side of my toolbar, I have an export tool, and this tool allows me to just simply export it as a Word document. I've set up all my folders unit by unit, so it's really easy to find what I need once I start going into OpenAuthor. It's that simple. Here's my Word document. The first thing I need to do here is save the pictures to my picture folder. Once that's saved, I'll remove the picture from the Word document. And then I need to get rid of the captions as well. Our aim is to just have the text. Now, this is the next lesson or chapter, Belgian Congo. So I need to get rid of all of that text and those images as well. Also, the text that was before this lesson should also be deleted. I also delete the title because I'll either type that in or it's already been built in there. Now you'll see I have all these columns. So I'm going to create one column out of all of that. And then I'll go to the paragraph symbol and remove all the formatting that created column and section breaks. I'm going to hit return there because I do want to keep the paragraphs the same as they are in the PDF textbook. Still removing some of that formatting. And now I need to remove the footer. Now you can just delete the footer, or sometimes it has some remnants of page numbers and you can go and delete those as well individually. Now I will highlight it and remove all formatting, which is the A with the eraser. Any residual formatting in there will show really strangely in OpenAuthor. And then the last thing I do is click Review and click the editor and use that to make sure there are no spelling errors or any other things like that. Here's a side-by-side view of my Word document and also my what's called a course in OpenAuthor. ISKME created this course for me so it looks more like a textbook with units and chapters, or units and lessons as we call them. But yours may just look like one single lesson, which is fine. The process is still the same. So you go to Edit, and you come in here, and you can type your title in there, but as you can see, my title's already in there because of the work that ISKME did, but that's where you could type your title in. Then you copy and paste your text right into that box. You can see it maintained my paragraph there. And if I have subheadings, I can use different heading titles like heading 1, heading 2, and I do use those if there are more sections than that. Now I'm going to add a heading picture, which is going to be those two maps because that was the only picture I had in that chapter. You'll do this probably once unless you have the whole course set up by ISKME. So you may want to choose a more generic image. Now I'm going to enter the image actually into the text box. So I click on the image icon, and then I find the image in my files. And I send it to the server. Once it's at the server, you have this box. You can either center the image, which is what I'm going to do here, or if it's a portrait, I sometimes put it to the left or the right of the text talking about that person. I always click Caption. Now, you always have to have alt text for it to be able to go into OpenAuthor. If it's a self-explanatory image, you can put 2 sets of quotation marks, which indicates that the screen reader doesn't need to read it. It's not important. But for this one, the PDF version actually had alt text in there. So I'm going back to my PDF version and I'm using my accessibility tool to view the alt text and copying and pasting that right into OpenAuthor. Once that's done, I can save it, and then I'm ready to caption. Once again, I just copy and paste the captions from the PDF version. We need those captions and those attributions because oftentimes the image comes from a different place than the text does. So you want to keep all those attributions pristine. Have a look at your text and image and see if it's set up the way you want it to. And now I hit save because you need to save. Sometimes you do lose some work. I always like to preview it in Student View to see how it looks for students and make sure it's readable. So that would be my landing page for the student for the chapter. And there's my image in the text. I like to put a space between the caption and the bottom text just because sometimes that could get really bunchy in there. Now we're ready to publish. Part of the publishing process is to provide a description for your work. I like to use AI for this, so let me show you how I use AI to create my descriptions. So you'll see here I've uploaded the Word document into my Google Drive. It needs to be there anyway because I share my Google Drive with other people. And I like to use Gemini because the icon is embedded in the Google Drive document section. I always use the prompt, please create a 1 to 2 sentence summary of the document that begins with a discussion. If I don't do this, sometimes I get bullet points, and I don't want bullet points as my description. And there's the description it comes up with. I can either accept that whole cloth, or I can adjust it to suit my needs. The other thing you can use generative AI for is to create alt text. So let me take that image that we've already embedded that I already had alt text for and see what Gemini comes up with for that. The prompt here is create alt text. And there's the alt text it came up with, and in my opinion, that's a little bit better. That a screen reader that read this alt text would probably give the person a better idea of what the image was. So we have our alt text and we also have our description. So now I'm going to copy and paste that description into the overview box. This allows the description to show up on the front end for people, and in my case, I've got an overall book, but maybe they just want one section. So they'll be able to focus in on that one section because they're all published as separate entities that can also be remixed or reused. I use the attribution for this, just share alike, so you can adjust that here. And then for the rest of these criterion, you're going to decide that for yourself. I'll show you what I've selected, but remember, you're trying to give any other user or any other remixer or redesigner the information needed so that it's easy to find this piece for their use in the future. So here you'll see it's world history. I've got multiple education levels. It's a lesson and their languages. I select ebook, curriculum and instruction. My primary users are students and teachers. I haven't really added a bunch of accessibility. So let's talk about keywords. Once again, you want to select words that will point people to this content. So if a person is searching for anything about the Scramble for Africa or imperialism, this will show up in their search and they can determine whether this information is something they want to use. The last thing we do is hit publish, and it takes you back to the landing page of the resource. There you can see the description, and I always like to view it both in teacher view and student view to make sure it still looks okay, and I can go back and tweak it anytime. Any changes you do make, you have to go through the publish step again. You can't just save it and it show up for the public. You have to go through and publish it again. But the second or third time you publish it, it's just a matter of hitting publish. I hope this walkthrough of my process has given you some ideas on how to tackle a project like this for yourself.